Hey folks, it's an easy brew day today. I'm going to make the most simple apple and pineapple cider that you can imagine. Here's my ingredients. I'm using apple juice from concentrate, pineapple juice from concentrate, and Lalvin EC1118 champagne, sparkling wine and cider yeast, and nothing else. No water, no sugar, no tea bags, no tannins. This is it. My fermentation vessel today is simply a Tesco spring water bottle, a 5 litre one, which I've drilled a hole in the top of, which is a perfect size hole to get a bung in and an airlock. In this incredibly easy brew, all I'm going to do is pop my funnel in, and starting with my pineapple juice, I'm going to pour it into the fermentation vessel. I'm then going to follow the pineapple juice with the apple juice. So this method of making a cider is called the turbo cider method. There's a Facebook group called Turbo Ciders for All, which is really useful. And honestly, these are the quickest, easiest ciders you can imagine to make. I've got 2 apple trees and I do make cider from apples in autumn. It takes a lot longer. So all of the fruit juices that are going in here are fruit juices that are made from concentrate, which means that there's nothing other than the fruit juice that's going into it. There's no preservatives, no additives, nothing that could damage the brew. Really, really so easy. That's 5 litres of juice in, and I'm just going to let that settle and the froth dissipate. Just rinsing the edges on the outside. Okay, that looks quite nice. I'm just going to pour some of this now into my hydrometer flask in order to be able to calculate the original gravity. We need to do that so we can work out the alcohol by volume at the end of the brew. That's also made a little bit of space in the top of the fermentation vessel, which will be necessary. So this is just my apple juice and pineapple juice and nothing else, and the original gravity of this is 1.052. 1.052. I've got a nice heaped teaspoonful of the Lalvin yeast, and that simply goes inside. It floats on top to begin with. So I'm just going to agitate this a little bit. I don't want it to slop out of the top, so I'll just do it quite gently. And this will cause the yeast will awaken with the sugars. It will eat the sugars and create alcohol and CO2. Okay, that's done. The next step is to put the screw top back on. Then I get my airlock in the bung with no water in it. This is important. And I push that until it feels snug and secure. So why didn't I put any water in the airlock? The plastic bottle is squeezy like a lung, and if you lift it, it will draw in through the airlock and it will draw the water into the brew, which could taint the brew. Probably won't, but it could. So for safety's sake, I'm going to put this in place before I add any water into the airlock. Now you'll note that there's only a small space here, and this will form a foamy head on top called a krausen. The krausen could rise up and it might come through the airlock, in which case I'll replace the airlock with a blow-off pipe. But I'm going to wait and see what happens first. If it's not too bad, then I might just leave as is. So I've now got the airlock in place, and I've got it next to my other ciders that are going at the minute: apple and cranberry, cherry bakewell, Vimto, blueberry, and now apple and pineapple. So I'll be back in a couple of weeks' time when fermentation is over. See you then, folks. Good morning from the kitchen, folks. I'm having a particularly early start today while I bottle my apple and pineapple cider. Let's have a look at it. So I've not put any finings in this. It's settled quite nicely on itself. There's a tiny amount of sediment down here. It's fairly opaque, but it's not see-through, it's not clear. But what I'm going to do, I'm experimenting and I'm going to try and bottle this so it's not completely clear, in the hope that it gives me a better sparkle and that it will clear in the bottles. So it's bung off, siphoning tube in. I've got the tube attached with this clip. It's down into the sediment, but the first lot that comes out is going in the hydrometer flask. Let's do it. Okay, so anyway, just to tell you a little bit more, this has been in the fermenting vessel for just over a month, about a month and 5 days. It fermented furiously to begin with, and then it's just tailed off gradually. It's not done anything really for a couple of weeks now. What I've neglected to do is to put my priming sugar in these bottles for the carbonation, so I'll have to do that retrospectively afterwards. You're supposed to do it before, but it doesn't matter. Don't tell anyone. So I'm hopeful that I'm going to get over 5 750ml bottles, possibly 6. And if I don't get 6 750mls, I might get 5 750mls, and then maybe a smaller bottle like that one. And there we go, bubbles in the siphoning tube tell me that that process is now over. So this is my 6th bottle. It's not full by any means, so I think this one will become my 6th bottle instead. So each of these 750ml bottles is going to get one of these, and this is a combination of brewing sugar and standard household sugar, and that will help it develop a secondary fermentation in the bottle, which is ultimately what will make it fizzy. I should have put the sugar in the bottles first, I simply forgot. So I've got the cider and the priming sugar in the bottles. Now I need to put the bungs in top, and I'm using plastic bungs. And I've had these soften in hot water to make them malleable, because they're quite difficult to get in sometimes. One. Oh, no pain, no gain. Oh. So, now for this bottle I'm going to need to use a capper. So I've just got the bottle in the sink, without the handles hitting the side of the sink, and that's gone rather nicely. That's nice and tidy. So this bottle's capped and done. These are bunged but not completed, because now I need to add on top of the bungs cages, because when the secondary fermentation kicks in inside the bottle, that sugar that I've put in will get eaten by the yeast, which is still in suspension in the cider. That will cause it to ferment again. That will build pressure up and CO2, and without these cages then you're looking at big pops. So the cages keep the bungs in place and they work very well. Anyway, you don't need to see me do all this because it's not that exciting. So I'm just going to rinse the bottles off because they've got sticky residue on them. I've got my bottles bunged, capped and caged. I'm just drying them off before I label them. But before I can print my labels off, I need to work out what the alcohol by volume is. And in order to do that, I need to take the final gravity. And this is a good final gravity. The hydrometer has sank nicely. I'm just going to spin it around a bit. And in fact, it has finished dead on 1.000. So I need to work out the alcohol by volume of the cider. So I take the original gravity of 1.052, I deduct from it the final gravity of 1.000, that equals 0.052, and then I multiply this by 131.25, and that gives me a final alcohol by volume of 6.8%. So that's a fair percentage for cider, really. So 6.8%. So I've got my labels made up in Word, just a simple template. I'm going to print those off. Okay, all that remains now in the bottling stage is to just put the labels on. I try and do it nice and neat. I like to take a little bit of pride on the outside of the bottle, just like I do what's on the inside. And there we go, bottling complete. Welcome to the Conservatory. This is where my cider will now condition for the next 2 weeks. It's south facing, it stays really warm in here. We use it as a greenhouse in winter. So I'm just simply going to put my ciders in this box, and then that's going to be tucked away, and they're going to stay there for 2 weeks before I open to sample. So the next film you see will be the opening and sampling, so I'll see you then, folks. Good evening from the kitchen, folks. It's the grand opening night for my apple and pineapple cider. Will it have a fizz? Will it look nice in the glass? Will it smell nice? Will it taste nice? Will it be clear? I don't know. If I can get more of those things than I don't get, then I'll be a happy person. Let's see. So I've got my cast smart bottle opener. Am I going to get a little tss? I did. Right. There's bubbles. There's bubbles. Get in. Right. I've got my Horsforth 2012 Beer and Cider Festival glass. Let's have a look how this pours. Look at that. Get in. Let's just all appreciate that sound. Oh, I'm happy. I've had a couple of stinkers recently, which I've not been happy with. So this has reboosted my confidence. Smells good. It's clear. It's fizzy. See what it tastes like. It's drier than I expected, but it tastes good. It tastes really good. It's like a really good quality dry cider. Now the pineapple taste isn't hugely apparent. It tastes more appley than anything. But I'll tell you what, it's a winner. Oh, thankfully, because honestly, I opened a cider the other week and it was that bad. I've put it back to condition for another month. So I'm just glad, really glad that this one looks good. Oh, happy place. Right. Cheers, folks. I'm going to enjoy this tonight. Have a lovely night yourselves. Catch you next time. The film that you've just watched is a Moss Home and Garden production. You can find more by going to www.mosshomeandgarden.co.uk. I'd just like to say thank you very much for supporting my YouTube channel and for watching my films. It really is very much appreciated. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to my YouTube channel in order to receive future updates about the home and garden films which I upload. You can find my YouTube channel by going to www.mosshomeandgarden.co.uk. Please click on the red subscribe button. When you've done that, a little bell will appear. If you press that also, then you'll get future updates about the films which I upload. If you like my films, if you like my style of filming, then you might also like my travel channel, which you will find by going to youtube.com/Stuart Moss or type in www.mosstravel.tv. Again, if you could subscribe to that channel, it would be hugely appreciated. If you'd like to get Moss Home and Garden updates on Facebook, then please open Facebook and do a search for Moss Home and Garden, and you will find the page. If you like the page, then you will get future updates on there. And if you'd like to connect on Instagram for home, garden and travel photography, as well as some stories, then my username is StuMoss, STUMOSS. If you'd like to connect on Twitter, then my username is @StuartMoss. And if you'd like to contact me about film usage or any other issue, please just email me on stewmosshomegarden@gmail.com. Once again, thank you very much for supporting my channel, for watching my films. I do appreciate it. I'd just like you all to have a great day.